Hello everyone, this is Wrestling Watcher, YouTube channel that is about watching professional wrestling. So it's obvious now that LA Knight versus Roman Reigns will be the next feud going forward for the World Heavyweight Championship on Raw. Now, LA Knight is a very popular babyface. I think it would have been better if he perhaps would have been booked a little bit stronger going into this, but he's still a top babyface on Raw, so it's a logical booking. I don't think there's any chance he wins. I hate to call it a filler feud. I think it's I think it's one of those things where, I hate to say it, but they're treading water a little bit. It's post SummerSlam, right after SummerSlam. We're still early August. Survivor Series is in November, right? So I don't think we're going to have any title changes for a while. Will it happen at Money in the Bank in October? You know, a title match between those two, I can certainly see that happening, obviously. But it's that post SummerSlam, before Survivor Series, a little bit of a lull there type thing. But I think it's a great way to give LA Knight a chance to, I don't want to say get over, but get more over than what he was, than what he has been. You know, he talks, you know, they gave him the 6-man tag win at SummerSlam, obviously as a precursor to this feud, which is great. But, you know, hopefully he gets a little bit more than that. You know, I'd like to see him get some singles wins against Jimmy and maybe Jay. I don't know if they'll give him a singles win against Jacob. I think they're going to protect Jacob a little bit. You know, have it be where, you know, Roman's beating Jacob, but beating Jacob one-on-one would be a big deal still right now. I don't know if they're going to let LA Knight do that, but I think LA Knight needs some quality wins to help. I don't know if reestablish is the right word, but make him look stronger for when he does go up against Roman one-on-one. It sounds like there's not going to be any interference this time, because LA Knight really threw that against Roman quite a bit in this promo about how it took his entire family to beat him last time they had a one-on-one match. You know, I think it's a little bit interesting. I think maybe people expected Drew McIntyre to be in this spot. I saw that online, where people expected Drew McIntyre's music to hit at the end of SummerSlam. I think Drew coming back against Roman right now would be rather interesting. I'd rather see that one-on-one at like a Royal Rumble or a WrestleMania, but we'll see what happens. I don't think there's any chance that LA Knight wins the title. I think Roman will retain when they eventually have that match. I hate to say it, it's that treading water time of the year. They have a couple of those. You know, there's that post-WrestleMania, then there's that post-SummerSlam time. You can't really say that about Survivor Series. I think, you know, I've heard it said that December, I think John Cena himself said this, it's one of the reasons why he retired in December. He said that December has always been a traditionally difficult month for WWE, but post-Survivor Series, people are already thinking about Mania with the way things are in this world, right? So the day after Survivor Series, they're thinking, okay, Royal Rumble's a couple months away. We got WrestleMania right after that. People almost look at the post-Survivor Series as some say as the unofficial start to Mania season, because it's really close, right? But we're not there yet. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see what happens next. You know, they had a great promo tonight, both LA Knight and Roman. I think they both made some good points. I think LA Knight, his humor came across. He's a strong mic. He's a strong promo. Roman has that naturally strong charisma. You know, like he's at the front of an army commanding, you know, his forces. LA Knight has that humorous, over-the-top sort of charisma where he's funny. He has that charm about him. It's completely different. But hopefully he's booked to look strong. But yeah, this is definitely obviously the next feud. I don't think there's any chance that LA Knight is beating Roman. Now, I already see on social media some folks on X suggesting that it's time for LA Knight to beat Roman at Money in the Bank and become the next champion. They really want to see that. I don't think WWE sees him that way. I think they see him as a strong I don't want to say mid-tier, but upper-tier sort of challenger who can provide a great story, a great challenge, while ultimately coming up short. Kind of reminds me of Sami Zayn in a way. Like, I suspect that if LA Knight was ever to become champion, it would be a very similar reign to Sami Zayn. 1 month or less. And I hate that because I think he would be a good quality champion. I think a lot of them would. I think LA Knight, Sami Zayn, a lot of the guys that WWE doesn't look at as necessarily championship material could provide a good 4, 5, 6 month run where they tell a story with the championship. But I don't think that's going to happen. But that's going to be all for this one, guys. Thanks for listening. Thank you.